Could the audience please be upstanding for the procession?
Good morning and welcome to Robert Gordon University Graduation Ceremonies 2025. My name is Isaac Pubalan and I'm the chaplain at RGU. It is good that we are here to mark a very special moment in the lives of each and every one of us gathered here today and to celebrate our collective achievement. Our focus, however, is on our graduates today who will change our tomorrow from the school, Aberdeen Business School. So I would like to invoke a blessing upon our graduates and to offer thanksgiving for all who made it possible with them.
Oh, good morning. What a privilege it is to stand here today on such a delightful occasion as we celebrate not only your academic achievement, but also the kind of leadership that makes people's lives happier, and the type of leadership that makes our lives healthier and our communities stronger. My name is Chris Small and I'm the Head of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And today it gives my great honour to offer this oration to Dracian Schroeder. Now, you may not find his name trending on social media channels, but if you ever walked into a men's shed in Scotland, then the kettle would be on, the banter would be flowing, and the isolation is being replaced by camaraderie. Then you've walked into Jason's legacy. Now, Jason grew up in Durban in South Africa, and after doing his national service in the Marines, his entrepreneurial spirit came to the fore when he took over his dad's publishing business in the 1980s, after which him and his wife bought a 64-acre smallholding outside of Durban, and he raised cows and chickens and a Vietnamese pot-bellied pig called Norman, I believe. He came to Aberdeen for his honeymoon and holidays as his wife's family were from the area, and in the late 90s he moved to Scotland permanently. In the first few years, he was honest enough to say that he faced some personal struggles that many would never have seen from the outside. And he did what many people did in times of challenge. He reached out. But instead of just looking for help, he started to create it. And inspired by the Australians' men's shed movement, he founded Scotland's first men's shed in West Hill in February 2013, and went on the following year to found the Scottish Men's Shed Association as a national charity to support the growth of men's sheds across Scotland. Now, let's be honest. When you hear the phrase men's shed for the first time, it doesn't actually exactly scream of a social movement. It sounds a bit like a place where you keep old tools, maybe dusty golf clubs, and that broken thing that your dad said that he was going to fix one day. But Jason, being Jason, saw something entirely different. He saw a sanctuary, a place where men could talk without anxiety, could share skills and swap stories with other men, and maybe, just maybe, feel like themselves again. In many ways, I think Jason's work reflects the same spirit that inspired Robert Gordon over 2 centuries ago. As a successful merchant, Robert Gordon used his wealth not to build monuments of himself, but to open doors for others, founding first a hospital and then a school which later became this very institution that bears his name, so that young people could learn and contribute to society. And Jason has done something remarkably similar in our time, creating spaces where people feel valued, where people feel connected and purposeful. Today, over 200 men's sheds operate across Scotland, supporting over 10,000 members. But having recently celebrated its 10th year, it has become a national network of shared purpose, reducing isolation and fostering resilience. Now, RGU's values like collaboration and respectfulness can be found across Jason's work, not in his plans and spreadsheets and slogans, but in the simple power of a place where people matter, where your worth isn't measured by job titles or certificates, but in kindness, empathy, and friendship. Now, I met with Jason recently and was taught a great lesson that I thought I could pass on to you, our latest graduates. In a world where we're constantly looking to stand out, don't forget the value of standing alongside. In the men's shed world, they say shoulder to shoulder, not face to face. It's a beautiful phrase. It means we don't always need to look someone in the eye to support them, but sometimes we need to just show up, be there, and draw on our human qualities of compassion, kindness, and integrity. Now, Jason, I know your son Cormac, of whom you're very proud, is here today to celebrate with you. And on behalf of all at RGU, I'd like to thank you and congratulate you on receiving your honorary degree. Vice-Chancellor, by the authority of the Academic Council, I present to you for the award of Doctor of Business Administration, honoris causa, Jason Schroeder.
Good morning, everyone. And what a great way to start a morning. It's not every day one receives an honorary award of this caliber, and it's certainly a first for me, as it might be for you. Through my life, I've not been attracted to what one might call formal educational settings in the Western traditional model. So to be honored by this esteemed university for following an idea, a vision, a dream of maybe, just maybe, making the world a better place for me and for us to live in has come as a great and inspiring surprise. The hallowed halls of learning and those who are graduating today are standing upon the shoulders of academic giants who have decided that my achievements over the past 15 years deserve such an accolade as a humbling one. When I left the world of big business and capitalism, which I started at a very young age, after my 2 years national service in the Marines, as my father had had a heart attack at his desk, I returned from lunch one day seeing paramedics saving his life. And afterwards, he presented me with 2 options: go to university, to do whatever I wanted, do like my brothers, or take over the family newspaper publishing business. At 23, that was the first career fork in the road. I decided to take on the family business, much to everyone telling me I was too young. I was successful and bought the business from my dad over the next 6 years, who could not return to it. At 29, I started reflecting on his life and where mine was heading. Sometimes life throws you a curveball, and sometimes a few, which you had no idea was coming your way, and all of a sudden, my newspaper empire building dreams of a young man were over in a flash. And so it was that my days of big capitalistic business were over in the traditional sense, as it was for many South African businesses at the time. I've had a winding road, let's say, of adventures in my life, with most finding me, and many forks in the road to decide upon, and the occasional crossroad just to step up the ante and keep me sharp. No matter what decision one makes, know that experiential education is at its core and it's valuable. I came across many years ago Professor Norman Jackson, who founded Life-Wide Education. Life-wide learning, which is different to lifelong learning, helps us appreciate the richness of our lives as opportunities and resources for helping us be and become the people we want to be. It's a holistic view of learning that extends beyond formal education settings into all aspects of life, your life. It was often the everyday experiences I found myself in, the people who crossed my path who were kind and patient enough to see some potential in the arrogance of my youth, and that if nurtured, might support me and others in my days to come. These mentors, or as I like to refer to them now, were my elders. They came from all walks of life, backgrounds and cultures, sharing their life stories. And unbeknown to me at the time, I was learning a world indigenous view not easily found in books. In the great master plan, they would manifest in a far-off place called Aberdeenshire. Who knew? I was being guided and educated that when the time was right, I would see what they had gifted my younger self and how I was to create the same opportunities for other people of all ages to be able to access them, but in an easier way. It's the paying of attention to one's inner voice and listening to your gut, emotional intelligence that will serve you and your highest good in allowing you to become the unique individual you are and not always following the crowd. It takes courage, determination, and a self-belief to allow your wings to unfurl and fly in a different direction and thrive when life throws that curved ball at you. The emotional peaks and the valleys are all part of the same inner landscape, which you need to learn to navigate internally, which is particularly tricky if you're a bloke. With our often inherited cultural, numb, strong and silent type emotional narrative, when we have such a bright and glittering outer world to contend with, all wanting your attention, pressure to succeed, and a culture built on stuff and the next shiny must-have. And so it was for me upon immigrating with a young family, and he's not so young anymore sitting in front of me today. I searched for elders, local wisdom keepers in Aberdeenshire to help me be a better parent. And for the first time, I felt very isolated and way out of my depth. I got a part-time job as a youth worker in Bucksburn, where an amazing woman, Jane Morris, who ran the centre, changed my life and my European cultural perspective coming from Africa. I read a statement allegedly made by a giant of a man. You might have heard of him, Albert Einstein. He said this, allegedly: insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I'll say that again. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I realized, in my opinion, the present societal model experienced in Aberdeenshire, and actually of the Western civilization, were not bringing anything new to the table in community health and engagement, especially for men. Scotland has the highest suicide rate of men in Europe, and I was visited by that dark night of the soul in 2009. So something new had to be created that wasn't existing in my world. Another great quote, which inspires me and still does today, was said by Mahatma Gandhi: "Be the change you want to see." In essence, the quote is a call to action, urging individuals to be the change they wish to see, rather than waiting for others to initiate it. By aligning myself to become passionate and inspired by people of action and community well-being, who by all accounts grew up in the same Western world model as me, and who also navigated forks in their road and crossroads, just as you will, or maybe have already, gave me a belief and the courage to wake up every morning and put it into practice. For is it working to live or living to work? It takes a constant checking in with oneself when one becomes passionate about your work and keeping a healthy life-work balance so you don't crash and burn over time. So a societal entrepreneur was born, unfurled my wings, and flew in a different direction, creating new systems to administer and to be experienced. This new model of understanding the differences in masculine engagement and communication, which originally crossed the waters from Australia, has deepened and grown in Scotland. This deepening is now supporting the Men's Shed movement and association startup in America and Canada, touching the lives of hundreds of thousands, and will continue to grow globally into millions, allowing life-wide and lifelong learning to flourish in these new places of emotional safety and healthy modeling for men, which impacts positively on all levels of our society. I would like to think and feel that this honorary award today is underpinning the foundations of all your lives, to firstly give you permission to be the very best administrators you can be to yourselves. Remember, volunteering offers profound personal rewards that often surpass monetary value, aptly demonstrated through its thousands of Men's Shed volunteer supporters, highlighting the intrinsic value of human connection and shared purpose, which in turn contributes to the health and well-being of themselves, families, and our communities. Your life is precious. Pay attention to your inner voice. Trust it and act on it. Reach out and speak. Silent no more. Especially as men. You're no longer alone, guys, and elders can be found in our Scottish men's sheds. So be kind to yourselves. Acknowledge gratitude for your next breath, for it is a gift and creates a miracle, the unique miracle that is you. Thank you very much.
I'm immensely proud and indeed privileged to lead this fantastic university. And as Principal and Vice Chancellor, I'm truly honoured to be with you all on this really special day. Many of you will have travelled far to be with us today, and I thank you for doing so. Today is about celebrating the achievement of our graduates. It's been a long road for you. You've overcome many challenges to be seated where you are today, but you've persevered, so well done. You leave here with a formal and prestigious qualification that will stand you in good stead for what lies ahead. But it's worth reflecting on the path you took to get here, the triumphs, the setbacks, and yes, the failures along the way. We all fail, but from failure comes learning, and from learning comes progress. You've gained knowledge from those that have taught you, And I would like to pay tribute to all our members of staff, particularly those on the stage here today. Thank you for what you have done for our students. So you've gained knowledge, but knowledge changes, it's provisional. Much of what you have learned will be out of date at some stage in the future. So what's more important are the skills that you have learned. And in that, I include the propensity to question, to seek constant improvement, always be striving to be better, and to value the journey of learning. The single most important thing that I hope you leave RGU with is an insatiable sense of curiosity. Why are things as they are? What works? What doesn't? How can you, each and every one of you, make things better? But the world of those you affect, needs more than just that. What sort of person are you? To borrow a few questions from moral philosophy, what are your duties? What are the consequences of your actions? What does it mean to be good, to be kind, to be compassionate, to be decent? These qualities are as essential for our world as technological advances, as important as discoveries and innovations. So I ask you to reflect. How will you affect those around you? What sort of person are you going to strive to be? In answering this, I urge you to keep in mind the values that RGU has instilled in you in our quest to shape you into a global citizen. Being a global citizen means honoring the bond that connects humanity and acting on your obligations to others. So I'd like you to consider the African concept of Ubuntu. In the isiZulu language, it is stated as Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. What that translates to is I am because you are, or we are because of each other. It stresses the universal bond of humanity, a sense of community, and our obligations to others. So I urge you at this time of celebrating your wonderful achievement to think about how you can use your learning and your skills for the benefit of others. So there are many paths that you can follow starting today, and the education you received at RGU will have prepared you for a range of opportunities. So we congratulate you, but not just that, we thank you as well. You've given us feedback. That's improved your experience, and that will improve the experience of generations of students to come as well. So thank you. Before I conclude, I do want to make a special mention of our honorary graduate, Jason Schroeder. You've heard in some of the speeches about the university values, and values are important. We believe in them, we try to live them, but characteristics are also important. And one of the many things that Jason exhibits, and I urge you to think about, is enthusiasm as well. Jason's a social entrepreneur who's created lasting change by addressing one of society's greatest challenges, that of social isolation. His work has supported practical grassroots solutions, helping to establish networks where individuals can connect. His journey serves as a reminder that leadership is not confined to traditional roles or sectors. It can emerge wherever there is a need, and where people are willing to step up, to create structure, and to make a lasting difference. I urge you to do that. As you now move into your respective career paths, you'll become even more familiar with the highs and lows of life, with the vicissitudes of daily existence, dealing with human experiences, often facing difficult situations. Give it your best. You'll make mistakes, but learn from them and strive for constant improvement. You also heard from Jason, not just to be kind, but to be kind to yourself. I'd add to that a little bit more. Be kinder than necessary. Finally, today is a day of celebration. Enjoy yourselves, express your joy, and please stay connected with your university. On behalf of everyone at RGU, congratulations and go well.